Hiya folks. People regularly ask me, why do I always say that it takes so long to train a recall? I usually tell people, if you're training a recall in your dog, particularly if you've got a dog from pup or if you rescue a young dog, that you're going to spend the first 3-4 years of its life training recall. Now, why is that? Pups are pups. Adolescents are adolescents, and they all have very specific motivations and behaviour. Now, in the very beginning, it can be quite common and quite normal to get a fabulous recall from your puppy because you are everything. You are God to your puppy. But as your puppy makes a transition from puppyhood to adolescence, there are a lot of mental and physiological changes in your dog. There's also a lot of instinctual growth. Because your dog's immature, because your dog wants to get out there and exercise those instincts and get to know the world that it lives in very well and explore new places, it wants to use those senses to the full. And that's where owners can find it particularly challenging. But you have to allow for that. You have to allow for that dog to have that need to use those senses. So what you're going to experience are dips in your recall according to your dog's development and your dog's age, and also your dog's type. Breed, choice of breed can be a very important factor. Dogs that are particularly driven by scent, spaniels, beagles, anything like that. But you also have sight hounds, dogs who have really sharp eyes, dogs who have a strong predatory instinct in them, but also just dogs that really want to get out there and work those senses. That can be anywhere from terriers to labradors to setters, pointers, whatever it may be. There are lots of developmental periods. It's not something you just train. You have to train according to where they are in their age and where they are in their own rate of development. Now that's very, very important that we consider all of that, but not only consider it all, you have to plan for it. It's a process. I always say it's a process. So until a dog's mature, until you've gone through various stages of training, also considering how refined your training has been, planning is very important. So once a dog is 3-4 years of age, it pretty much knows what's out there. It pretty much knows what kind of routine you give it, where you take it, where it goes, and you also have a pretty good idea of what your dog's driven by. Whether it likes to flush birds, whether it likes to chase squirrels, whether it just likes to go out there and exercise its nose and the wind takes your dog away. So you also have to learn very vital skills in training your dog's recall. It's not something that you learn in 6 weeks. It's not something that you learn in 6 months. It's a process. It's a process. There are some mental skills that you have to refine and train in yourself. There are some communication skills, and there's also what you use, i.e. Using the whistle, hand signals, body language, all of that stuff. It's an ongoing work. It's the most important thing that you will ever train in your dog. Nothing's more important than getting your dog to come back to you. But one of the most common faults in a recall is not allowing your dogs to exercise their senses to the full. So you sort of have to pick an environment where your dog can do that, but you still maintain a good measure of control, and you're able to use that environment to you and your dog's advantage. Taking it into the hills where it's complete open space, the place is full of pheasant or grouse or partridge or whatever, and just letting your dog take off, that's setting yourself up to fail. So managing your dog's developmental rate, extending it where possible, and knowing exactly where you are in your training are the early foundational successes to a good recall. Knowing yourself, knowing your dog, knowing where you are, knowing what environments are a challenge to you and what environments are an absolute no-go. Some are a no-go at the level you are at.